Sonic's Green Hills Adventures Season 3 Chapter 11. Dr. Denman is coming. Sonic's point of view.
As we were walking back to Charlotta's house, Silver looked at me nervously. "What's wrong, Silver?" I asked gently as I put a hand on his shoulder.
I was just thinking, you're only here for summer break, right? So will I do when you leave. I don't want to be alone again.
Silver replied as he started to quietly sob. I immediately stopped and hugged him. "Silver, we promise you will never be alone again because you're coming with us to Green Hills. Maybe even join the Wachowski family," I said reassuringly. Immediately, Silver's face lit up into the largest smile I've ever seen.
Thank you, guys.
Silver exclaimed as flew into the air using his psychokinesis. "No problem, Silver. Let's go tell Pretzel Mom and Donut Dad the big news," I said as I took Marina into my arms and we dashed towards Charlotta's house.
Meanwhile, in another Australian city, Dr. Linda Denman was cooking dinner while watching the news.
This summer is off to an interesting start. There have been sightings of large furry creatures at the coast.
The news reporter said, and that got her attention. Then footage of Sonic and Shadow surfing appeared on the screen. Their skills were incredible. She knew then and there that she had to get to the coast. So she started packing for her trip, including scientific tools. As she watched the rest of the news report,
They were spotted at Ricky's cafe yesterday morning as well.
the reporter said as she finished. That's when she realized exactly where she needed to go, Louie's hometown. Then she ate her dinner and went to bed, planning to head out tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, Sonic and the gang arrived at Charlotta's house.
"Hey, Donut Dad. Pretzel Mom, we have something to ask you to."
Sonic said as they walked into the living room.
Oh, and what's that?
Maddie asked curiously.
Then Silver joined our family.
Sonic explained hopefully.
Yes, welcome to the family, Silver.
Maddie said as she hugged Silver lovingly.
Thanks, Mom.
Silver said as tears of joy fell down his muzzle.
This is the cutest moment I've ever witnessed.
Charlotte said as she wiped her tears away. Later that night, Sonic was tossing and turning in his sleep. In his dream, he was swimming around Mako with Marina. Then he heard a boat coming towards the island. They hid behind an underwater rock as we watched it.
Sonic, what should we do?
Marina asked Sonic nervously. Sonic was about to reply when they saw a net come down on them. They tried to swim away, but it was too late and were brought onto the boat.
"Anna?"
Sonic cried as he held Marina protectively, all while Dr. Denman walked up to them as her henchmen released them from the net.
Well, more extraordinary sea creatures. Now I can fix my reputation and make history. Come on, boys, let's get back to the lab.
At that moment, Sonic had finished drying himself and Marina's tails off.
Oh, another mermaid like Lewis's friends. And what are you?
Dr. Denman asked curiously.
"I'm a hedgehog."
Sonic replied hostilely as he kept holding Marina protectively. All of a sudden, the scene changed to inside of Dr. Denman's lab, where Sonic was strapped down to a table and Marina was in a large tank.
"Huh? Marina, no.
Sonic screamed as he realized what was happening.
Sonic?
Marina screamed in horror as she desperately bangs her hands against the glass.
Whoever you are, let us go."
Sonic screamed at the top of his lungs. Sonic's point of view.
I woke up screaming bloody murder as I was shaking like never before. I suddenly heard my door open to see Marina running over to me with a very worried look on her face.
Sonic, what's wrong?
Marina asked as she sat next to me on the bed. I had another nightmare. It was very different from the previous ones. It felt so real, I said as I started to cry uncontrollably. Marina immediately pulled me into a hug.
It's going to be okay. But what happened in it?
Marina asked as she sat next to me on the bed. "Thanks, Marina. I love you," I said and kissed her lovingly.
And are you, Sonic?
Marina said excitedly. Then I told her what happened in my nightmare.
That's intense, but don't worry, we won't let that happen. So do you think you can go back to sleep?
Marina asked sweetly. I shook my head as my ears drooped. "Can you stay with me tonight?" I asked sheepishly.
Of course, Sonic. Come on, let's get some sleep.
Marina said as we got back into the bed. Then we cuddled up to each other so we would be more comfortable. And I for once slept more peacefully than I have in a long time.